and I am back with part 2 of Zoe's modern home. So this is the interior of the build, and I have been very excited to share this with you because it's very, very different to what I have created in the past. In fact, it's an upside down house, which is very unusual, but I have actually been in one of these before. In fact, my old friend at school, this was a really long time ago, but her stepfather had an upside down home, and when I used to go around, it was just really puzzling because you walked in and the kitchen was on the second floor of the house, and then you went downstairs to the lounge, and then the bedrooms were on the basement floor, I think. So it's very topsy-turvy, but it's just a different way of living, and I'd be really interested to hear if any of you live in upside down houses, or if you don't have the sort of normal interior, if it's different. I don't know, I just love different, unusual interiors. It's just unusual, and I like that about this build. And I did try to make it look unusual as well throughout in terms of the colours and things I used in it. I wanted to make it look very modern, and I've been very into modern homes recently. In fact, a lot of you will already know by now. I have been sharing quite a few modern houses, and this is because I want to be more diverse on my channel. So I am trying out lots and lots of new ideas, and if there's anything that you want to see that you haven't seen yet and you think that I would potentially be quite good at making it, or you just want to see how I do it just for a bit of a laugh, then let me know, because I could definitely have a go. No matter what it is, I will always try my best to recreate what you want to see. But this was the downstairs basement floor, so this was where the kitchen was going to be. I think it was anyway. So yeah, the kitchen was on the bottom level, and so was the lounge, and then the bedrooms were on the level that you'd walk into the house at. So it's a little bit strange, but I really like it. So it's just very different. If it does bother you that it's like this, then you can switch it around if you want to. In fact, you can have the bedrooms on the basement floor if you really wanted to do that, and you could just mix it up completely, and you could have the kitchen as you walk in. It could just look like a really, really different home. And if you do decide to do that, then I'd absolutely love to see how you do it. In fact, I would love to see pictures of it on Twitter. If you do follow me on Twitter, I love to see pictures of my builds. It just really interests me to see what you do with them afterwards, and I love to see the families that live in them as well. So if you do create a family for this home, I'd love to see it. So just let me know on Twitter. But anyway, this was the kitchen. So the kitchen was a very, very modern room, and I used a lot of modern furniture here. In fact, I used a repeat of those surface tables in the bathrooms as well. I just thought they looked really good, and it just looked very different on this build. I don't usually use them. They just look very industrially, and I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of them, but I think for this build, they just look really good. In fact, the kitchen itself probably wouldn't be one of my favourite rooms, and if an interior decorator came to me and said, Hattie, you can pick any kitchen that you want, just pick it, it's in this book, I think this would be my last choice. It really, really would. But that's just because I don't like dark kitchens, and I think that is because I used to live in a house which had a very, very dark kitchen. In fact, the kitchen itself was navy blue, and it was navy blue on the walls. It was a really pretty kitchen to look at, and I would imagine if it had the right lighting, it would have looked absolutely spectacular. But because it was a very dark colour for a very dark room with no windows, it didn't look good. And that was the problem with it. So I think for me, I think that dark rooms are something that I like to avoid. I like to go for pale rooms, but I thought I would be more diverse on this build, and I would go for a dark kitchen because some people do like dark kitchens. In fact, let me know what you think in the comments below. Is it best to have a light kitchen or a dark one? I'm not sure. But yeah, so anyway, this was the lounge area. I went with some outdoor furniture here, which was a little bit of a change for me. And I used this rug. I don't think I've ever used this rug in The Sims 4. But I just thought it went really well with the house. It actually reminded me of the exterior of this home because it is very boxy and higgledy-piggledy, just like this rug. And in fact, I used very similar colours on the outside. So I think that all in all, that rug was a really good choice for this build, and I liked it. And at this point, this was when I was currently doing the Blooms's modern home interior. And what was happening is I was still thinking in my head about the colour scheme that I did for that. So I went over that whole area in the sort of orangey colour that I used for the interior of the Blooms's modern home. If you haven't seen it, then I'll try to remember to leave the links in the description below. And I got really mixed up because I forgot which house I was building. Because often I do build houses at the same time. In fact, I don't really have a break. So what I do is if I'm building, I will probably build for a couple of hours straight. And the reason as to why I do that is because when I first get into building, maybe the first 30 minutes when I'm building anything, is me getting back into the game, me remembering what I wanted to use for it, and it's really just experimenting with different things. And when I have been building for a few hours, I just speed up naturally, and that is what makes my videos faster when I just practice for maybe a couple of hours. Anyway, this was the bathroom. So the bathroom I really liked. It was very unusual, but I'm really into using those fountains. In fact, I use them in a lot of my modern builds. I just think they look so good, and in bathrooms as well. It just gives a really nice effect. So I was very happy with how that looked. And I think overall, it just looked really good. So I hope you're going to like it as well. I think that on live mode, when the family is using the bathroom, maybe not the family all together, maybe an individual sim is in that room just by themselves, then it would just be so relaxing to hear the water. I don't know. That's what I think anyway. Then downstairs, I put a fish tank underneath the staircase. I love open staircases in modern builds, so it just gives a little bit of extra room. I love how we can use it as well. In fact, I haven't shared this build because I wasn't on YouTube when I was building it, but I did a cafe, I think, a while ago when I was building a retail shop. I think it was a cafe, I'm not sure though. Maybe it was a cafe and a toy shop at the same time. I think that's what I went for. And I put loads of things under the staircase, and it was just so lovely to see the Sims just go and buy things and stand there. I don't know, I really enjoyed it, so that's what I did. And I was thinking about that as well. This was the upstairs lounge area, so I thought it would look really bad if I didn't have a lounge area as soon as you came into the house. It also means that if you did have a family of Sims living here, and if you had some children that need to do their homework, they could sit here. So it could just be a separate seating area, which is a little bit quieter, maybe for some study. I don't know, but I thought that that looked pretty good being there. It also does have an outdoor balcony area, but I can't remember what I put there. I can't remember even if I put anything there. So if you want to fill it up, then you can put stuff there if you want to. In fact, you could put a hot tub there. You could put lots and lots of different things. This was the main bedroom. So the build itself ends up with 3 bedrooms. It does have an attic bedroom. In fact, no, the attic bedroom is probably the main bedroom. This is the second main bedroom. So it's not that big compared to the attic room. I thought an attic room would just be a really amazing thing to put up there, but it could also be a party area. So I'll show you that in a little bit. But this was how this room was turning out. So it was a very dark grey room. I don't know if I liked it. I don't know. It looks very modern, but I don't know if I'm into these colours. And sometimes I won't like the own interiors that I do in my builds. Sometimes I do just like to experiment with different things, even if I don't like it myself. And I do this because I know that everybody does have different interior ideas of what they like and dislike. I mean, I've gone to people's houses before and it hasn't been my choice of interior, and people have been to my houses before and it hasn't been their choice of interior. So it just depends. And sometimes I will like things in my builds, but sometimes I won't. And I think for me, this room, I wouldn't enjoy having this room. I don't know why, maybe it's just too dark for me. I did also see quite a few Tumblr pictures because I am trying to work on a Tumblr house at the moment. And what I saw was there was this bed and it was behind, or in fact, no, in front of loads of bookcases, and it looked really good. So I did try that, but it just didn't work for me. So I didn't do that in the end. And I did, for once in my life, include some of those cupboards. So I don't think I've ever used those before, but it really matched this room. So I went with those. And I think something else that I did forget whilst I was doing this was a light. In fact, I didn't include a top light, and that is something that I did do, I think, right at the end of doing this room. So maybe that's why it looks really dark as well, because I just didn't put a light there. And I would usually do that as one of the first things I did, but I think I just forgot. I did put a wine rack, which is a little bit unusual, but that could just be for bottles, maybe a display of things, and you could use that for your Sims if you wanted to. Maybe that would be the perfect room for a mixologist. If you did have a mixologist living here, that would be the, I guess, dream room, really. I don't know though. I don't know, because maybe sometimes people don't like to take their work home with them. I mean, I know for me, if I was an artist or something, or a mixologist, I wouldn't like a room filled with loads of arty or mixologist things. I don't know. That's just me personally. But yeah, this was a children's room, or this could be a teenage room as well. So depending on what you'd really want this for. It could also just be a spare bedroom, but I just included the bare minimum things in here. So it has got a storage cabinet, and I did put some artwork in here, but just not a lot. And I think this room was pretty plain, but I didn't want to have too much in here. I didn't want to distract it from just being a normal bedroom. And I think with modern builds as well, I do find it quite important not to clutter the rooms up, so that's something that I definitely didn't want to do. And then I was on to the upstairs. This is the last floor that we have to do. This was my favourite floor, I think. So I put a little bathroom there because it was just a bit of wasted space, and I thought the house itself, I think only has 2 bathrooms, and one of them is all the way downstairs. So if you're up here and you needed the toilet, or you still needed a toilet, then you'd have to go all the way downstairs and it would just take quite a while. So I thought putting a bathroom here would just be a better solution than just nipping all the way downstairs. And I did include those showers in it because I think they look very modern and I like them. I think they're also the best showers that you can get in the game. I'm not sure. They do look a little bit scary though at the same time. They look like something that you'd see in a space shuttle. I don't know though, because they just look really futuristic. But yeah, so this was the bathroom. The bathroom was grey. I also put a rug there, which does look, I think, a little bit like a gutter, but I'm not sure where that's from. And I thought it looked good, so I left that in. This was the hallway upstairs, so I thought it would be very important to put some bookcases on the 3rd floor as well. I think this is because I would feel really strange about not having a seating area on every single floor, so I definitely wanted to make some room up here for that. And I did just finish off the hallway by putting in a chest of drawers, some pictures around, which aren't that modern, but I think being in the environment that they are in, a modern sort of room with modern flooring and walls, they did look a little bit modern, but those paintings I do use for traditional builds as well, so I don't know. But anyway, this was the main bedroom. So the main bedroom was very, very big, and I did also go briefly onto live mode, and I changed the lighting colour because that was very important for this build. And this room was humongous, and if you didn't feel as if this room should be a bedroom, you could definitely change it. And I think what I would do is, if you wanted to change it, you could potentially have this as a whole party floor. So if you did have a really, really amazing party, maybe in, I think it's called Granite Falls, because this is the house that I originally built in Granite Falls, and I moved it, I think anyway, but I'm not sure. And you could maybe even have it as a rental property, so you could have this being a party rental house if you wanted to, and you could have the whole party area being here with a bar area, everything here. It could look really, really good because it's definitely the right size for a party room, just depending on what you want. I did just finish off the bedroom by putting in some plants, so I put lots and lots of plants around. And I also thought about making it relaxing. So I did want to follow the theme through of the garden setting, where it does have lots of things that you can use for, I think, yoga and just peaceful activities that the family can do. And it is supposed to be a relaxing house, so I thought that that was very important to keep to that. I did pay very, very close attention to matching the colours too. So I wanted to have this room being a very matching bedroom, and I paid lots and lots of attention to the wallpapers and things. And I did go with a stripe look on the walls, and I really liked that in the end, so I hope you like it as well. It's something completely new that I don't think I've done before, and I think it turned out pretty well. I was then experimenting with the headboard. I thought I would put in some of those decorations. I think they're a little bit like mirrors, but they don't actually reflect, so I'm not sure what they are, but I thought they looked really good there, and they matched the bed really, really well, so I put those there. I did put a bar area in here, so I actually forgot about this, but I thought that maybe it needed it. I don't know. You could even put this outside because there's lots and lots of places outside near the hot tub that this could go. So just depending on what you wanted. And I did try to match everything in the bedroom. So I think that it looked quite nice. This was when I was doing the outside shutters. So I forgot to do that in the exterior part of this for some reason. So I left it in there. And then I just finished off this outdoor area by putting in some seats. I like the fact that it is outdoors and it is, I think, one with nature. So I don't know, but I think it looks pretty good either way. And that is the end of the build. So I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you all soon.